Bonjour, mon ami! Today I'm going to be recapping the latest episode of Drag Race France All Stars Super Bowl. I love a ball. I love a design challenge. Let's get into this episode already. The queens walk back into the workroom after the non-elimination premiere. Mami Wata tries to backtrack, saying she knew all along there would be no elimination in the first episode, but the queens aren't having it. Misty reveals that if she had won the lip sync, she would have chosen Magnetica to go home because she has a closer connection to La Big Berta. So it's a new week in the workroom, and Mummy is still trying to smooth over some cracks. Good luck, babe. At that moment, Nikki enters the workroom and announces that one of the queens will definitely be going home this week. But first, there's a mini challenge to attend to. One by one, the queens will have to push season 1 winner Paloma off a giant beam using oversized Q-tips. God, Paloma looks so good, and the rest of them look so busted. Paloma manages to push most of them off, but Punani somehow beats her and ends up winning. Is this a winner's edit we're seeing? So for this week's Maxi Challenge, the queens are throwing a ball. The Super Bowl. The first category is XX Wings, literal wings on the runway. The second category is a day to night reveal look. And the third category, the design portion, must be done in teams. In 2 groups of 5, the queens will need to create their own fashion houses. As the winner of the mini challenge, Punani gets to pick her team for Fashion House 1, and due to being almost eliminated, La Big Berta gets to pick her team for the second house. Moon being picked last was criminal. Nikki says she will pick the top 2 from the winning house and the bottom 2 from the losing house. It seems like a really big task, but the queens are still only creating 1 look each. As they prepare, there is a battle over the fabrics, especially between Soa and Mami Wata. They make up quickly and the 2 teams learn to share. So on the main stage this evening, we have Nikki Doll looking like a work of art. Yes, I'm going to be doing this every week. Yes, I'm going to be highlighting her individual look. Because look at her. We also have Daphne Berkey, Shaim, Loic Prejean, and extra special guest judge Marion Cotillard. A pretty big name to be sure. Category is XX Wings, and I gave my top 2 to Cam Hugh. Crediting drag looks here on Instagram. Those 3D printed wings alone deserved a shoot. I love the metallics and the yellow blended together, amazing. In the second category, I gave my top 2 to Mami Wata. I love this judge's robe turning into a beautifully fitted mermaid gown. Blue is my favorite color, and this fits like a dream. I also love the judge's wig trailing behind her, amazing. And for the third and final category, I gave my top 2 to Punani. I just love this green fabric over the shimmering bodysuit. They definitely had the stronger house, and sure enough, their house wins. Punani, Mami Wata, and Misty Phoenix are made safe, which means the rest are up for judging. La Big Berta is given an honourable mention for giving it her all this week. We know that fashion isn't really her thing. And she's also made safe. So it's time for the judges' critiques, and first up we have Magnetica. She lived for her first 2 looks, but felt that the third one was thrown together very quickly. I loved it, but according to the judges, they have such a high standard of her that if she falls short, it's very noticeable. Next up is Soa Demuse, and things get quite emotional on the main stage. They only touch on her first look, saying that they saw a lot of torment in her performance. Daphne says that she can see that Soa has been through a lot and that she's very brave to share it. It was quite touching, but I do wish they had mentioned the other 2 looks, especially because Soa ends up landing in the bottom, and I was just hoping to know how they got there. Moon is praised for the level of detail across all 3 looks. Her demon one was my favourite. It's what I would have chosen to do for that category. However, they didn't understand her reference in the second category and thought the reveal was a bit messy. Cam Hugh had an amazing showing across all 3 categories, and they really praised her influences within her own fashion house. She had such a clear concept and vision for her team, including intentionally closing the show with a bridal moment. Peach is given her rightful flowers for her creativity, and watching the judges fathom how amazing Peach is made me so happy. And last but not least, we have Ellipse. She had the fastest, most effortless reveal, and was probably the most fashion-forward out of all her sisters. Ellipse and Cam Hugh are made the top 2 of the week, and I can't argue against it. They delivered. I do wish one of them had been Peach, but that's my bias showing. Moon is saved, which means Magnetica and Soa Demuse are in the bottom. And at that moment, I knew exactly where this was going. Back in Untucked, Magnetica is clearly defeated. She says she may not be cut out for drag, but Moon comforts her, saying just because you don't fit the picture of what this show's looking for doesn't mean you are not incredibly talented. Thank you, Moon. The bottom 2 plead their case, but Magnetica was at a huge disadvantage here because the top 2 are both from season 1, and so is Soa Demuse. I knew that they would have an alliance and more of a connection to Soa than they would to Magnetica. Back on the main stage, the pair lip sync to a song by Edith Piaf. This is a nice tribute to Marion Cotillard, who played Edith in La Vie en Rose. It was very clear that Ellipse won that lip sync. She gave a perfect performance with so much emotion. And sure enough, Ellipse wins, scoring her very first win in Drag Race, which is crazy because Mami Wata had that same experience last week. They really said, Drag Race France All-Stars, a season of redemptions. She gets a cash tip plus a Nikki badge. So it's time for the moment of truth, and Ellipse reveals that she has chosen Magnetica to go home. And she says it's due to her performance across both weeks. Guys, I don't know what to say. When Magnetica was unfairly eliminated on Drag Race France Season 3 second, I nearly gave up on the season. So Magnetica leaving first on All Stars, I don't think I can take it. I might never recover. This is why I didn't put Magnetica in my top 3, because I knew this was going to happen. I truly hope Magnetica doesn't give up on her art. What I do want to say about Drag Race France All-Stars, which I find pleasantly surprising, is that they're willing to put Soa in the bottom 2. Because prior to this season starting, I thought this would be the Soa show. I thought she would be pushed and favoured, but clearly that's not the case. And that's a relief, because honestly, I didn't want it to go in that direction, especially after All-Stars 10. My friends, next week is the Snatch Game. What did you think of the ball? Did you agree with the judging choices? I'm going to go cry now because Magnetica leaving first is bad enough, but Magnetica leaving on a ball challenge? Jail.